Jay, could you stop spinning on that chair? Listen. Later on, we go. Jay, focus. Stop spinning on that chair and listen to me. I've had enough of that. Okay, so later on today we go. Jay, focus on me and put that pen down.
Okay, class. Eyes to the front, please. We're doing maths now. Has everyone got their maths books out ready? Yes. Gavin? Gavin? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead without Gavin, who's clearly not attending at the moment. Okay, 64 plus 32.
Gavin's crying.
Gavin, can you just take yourself somewhere else so I don't have to see your outbursts? I'm really fed up with it today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
I'm just going to do something real quick. Be with you in a second.
Yep. Oh, look, I had it in the right order.
Mr. Morris. I thought Gavin was the one that was sneezing. Bruce, would you take your head off, please, in class? Bruce, take your hat off in class.
No.
Take it off now.
No! You always tell me how to do stuff. I'm not going to do anything in your class. You can't stop me.
Morning, class.
Morning.
We have a new student starting with us today. His name is May, and I think he would work really well sitting in this front room right here. So May, why don't you go take a seat with your new class members, get yourself acquainted. Alrighty, class, we know what work we need to be doing. I'm going to be writing something forward, make sure you can fun. Oh, class, just ignore that. Ignore anything he does.
Good evening, I'm May Henderson and welcome to In Your Classroom. And tonight we'll be talking about anxiety and depression. Depression can affect any of us at any stage in our life. Depression can be triggered by any number of factors or events. Unfortunately, children are not exempt from this. They can and do suffer from depression alongside adults with very similar symptoms. Anxiety can also affect us at any age or any time within our lives. Anxiety is when we feel uncomfortable in situations and the feelings linger. This in turn can create more stress for the sufferer and will cause them to hide away where they will feel safe and won't have to experience situations which will cause them serious bouts of anxiety. Today we have Jay, who is a student that's suffering from both anxiety and depression. Today she's brought along her mother, Beth, her teacher, Mr. Bruce Plint, and her psychologist, Dr. Gavin Morrow. Jay, how did you know that you were suffering from depression and anxiety?
Well, I don't think I really knew. I felt like I was just on my own, like Mum and Dad were splitting up, and I thought they were splitting up because of me, and I didn't know what to do, and I just didn't want to talk to anyone when I was at school, and then my friends stopped playing with me, and it just made me scared, and I just didn't know what to do, and I felt really sad all the time.
Yes, I noticed Jay was, becoming more and more isolated from the rest of the class. She was becoming more withdrawn from classroom activities, and her behaviour pretty much wasn't Jay's behaviour anymore. She had changed quite a bit. That's when I called her parents in just to have a chat to find out if anything was happening at home that might have influenced her behaviour at school. And that's when I found out that her parents were going through a divorce.
I feel terrible. I didn't notice the change at first. I thought it was just a phase. She spent a lot of time in a room
there was a lot going on, so I actually wasn't even aware of it until Mr. Plent brought it to my attention. Then I started noticing it, then I became aware. And
So that prompted you to contact Dr. Gavin. So who is here with us today?
that's right.
Yes, I've been working with Jay for a few months now. It's really important that you get consistent treatment and deal with the issue over a period of time, because that can lead to very serious symptoms. Now, for the younger children, you're going to have the symptoms like sadness. They're going to be irritable and clingy for some of the younger ones. Worries, aches and pains that don't really have any physical source. Some of the older ones are going to start refusing to go to school or just not performing in class. Now, if it's left untreated, you're going to end up with really serious issues. And in Jay's case, she started to actually cut herself. It was quite serious at that point.
Yeah, I noticed in the middle of summer, 40-degree temperatures, and she was wearing a jumper. This kind of concerned me, so I called Jay over and spoke to her a little bit, and that's when she admitted to me that she had been cutting herself, and now that was a worrying issue, and I had to let her parents know.
Did you ever notice Beth?
Yes, I finally did see it one day. I pushed the issue and made Jay take off the jacket at home, and it was horrifying that she could harm herself like that, and I was shocked.
Why did you do it, Jay?
I did it because it hurt at first, but after that it felt really good, and that's why I did it, because it made me forget just for that time. And the more times I did it, the more I would forget what was happening around me. So it made me feel better.
So what did you do, Dr. Morrow?
Well, first we were doing some counselling, trying to talk through some of the issues. But with her GP, with Jay's GP, we started doing some treatment with some medication. The medication interrupts some of the brain's thought processes just to try and smooth out some of her thinking. It also allowed us to more effectively use cognitive behavioural therapy. There's a noticeable improvement, but it's important that we keep counselling to help her develop healthy ways of thinking. There has been a noticeable improvement, but it's still important that we develop healthy ways of thinking.
Could you please explain to the viewers at home what cognitive behaviour therapy is?
Certainly, CBT is one of the most commonly used therapies. It involves trying to help the patient develop strategies and ways of thinking that address the issues and think in more positive and helpful ways. You've got to try and replace some of the negative approaches and look at some of the more positive aspects. It also helps the patient develop skills and approaches for modifying their emotions. It can be very effective with children and teenagers.
So Jay, do you feel cured?
No, I do feel a lot better. Sometimes I still have bad thoughts, but I know what to do now, and I know who to talk to. So it helps a lot, and it makes me feel a lot better.
At home we tried to make changes. We tried to get Jay to eat healthy, and we addressed the sleep problem, made sure she got to bed on time, and we also encouraged after school activities just to try and encourage her out of her room.
And even in the classroom, we made sure that we did daily fitness. A lot of the students in the class actually, they don't get that much physical activity at home, and even with this activity, I noticed some of the kids with some more challenging behaviours became more calm and relaxed, and it just seemed to help everyone in the classroom. It's one of the physical activity releases something in the brain that sort of helps with the depression.
So Dr. Murray, could you explain why physical activity would help?
Well, the regular exercise actually helps ease the depression in a number of ways. The research shows that actually getting out and doing things releases the positive hormones, the endorphins that make the patient feel good, and it also allows them to develop their physical systems so that their immune system can recover and they just feel more generally well. It also allows them to feel more confidence, develop more confidence as they succeed in activities in the playground or on the sports field. And while they're doing it, it takes their mind off some of the other worries that seem to be dominating their thought processes. Really, it's a good way of developing a healthy attitude.
So, Mr. Plint, what other practices did you put in place within your classroom?
All students have a diary where teachers can communicate with the parents at home. With the serious of Jay's condition, I made sure I wrote regularly every day, just to keep a correspondence with the parents, just so that they were informed of how Jay was progressing through the day, and if any issues did arise throughout the day, that they were aware of it. It just helped Jay to cope. You know, we could contact each other in this way.
It was quite reassuring to have that daily information. I was worried sick, so hearing every day what was going on in the classroom made me feel a lot better. And it was also valuable because then I could pass that information on to Dr. Morrow here, and he was able to assess the information he was receiving from me about the day-to-day happenings in the classroom.
We were able to exchange that information so effectively. We were able to modify the medication that we were giving Jay so that we could better balance her condition. It was so important that we had that good communication.
What other issues did you need to work on?
Well, we had to develop some strategies for Jay to cope with some of the anxieties. The discussion, the thought strategies that we were developing gave her ways to address the issues better and helped her relax. Also, developing strategies so that she could sleep better at night was very helpful.
These all sound so obvious and so everyday. Would they benefit everyone?
They would. But it's a team effort, and without us all communicating and reinforcing these strategies, it wouldn't have worked. Every one of us was instrumental.
So, Mr. Plint, what other changes did you make within your classroom?
Well, besides building the trust with Jay, I let her know that she could approach someone if she had any issues. She could come to me. That I was there to help her, and she knew that if she had any issues or any problems, I was someone she could come and talk to. Just that trust that we built. She didn't have to feel alone.
Did this help you?
I like the fact that Mr. Plint was there for me. It was scary at first for me to tell him because I was worried what he was going to say to Mum and Dad and what Mum and Dad would say. But after I did, I felt like that I wasn't alone anymore, and that there's people there who want to help me, and to have that support, it made me feel really, really good about myself.
So being so involved in the program, were you the only one that was involved?
It was a whole school-wide system. Obviously, I had to inform the principal of what Jay was going through. The principal actually implemented a resilience program. Teachers tend to sort of overlook the quiet, withdrawn people in the classroom and tend to focus more on the outgoing students, the louder ones, the ones that cause distractions. And the quiet ones, like in Jay's condition. Luckily, I had known her previous behaviour, and I noticed the change. And it's important as educators that we are aware of all our students, even the quiet ones. And with this resilience program, it benefits everyone, really.
I really like going to school now. I mean, everything feels better now because I think my friends, once they knew, they understood why I was feeling so upset all the time, and I'm talking to them more and more now, and we play on the playground and everything now, so it's a lot of fun for me now, and I really enjoy it. And it's nice to know that that I have people around me that understand me now and will help me if I need the help.
Anxiety is more than simple feelings of feeling worried or stressed. Sure, everyone gets anxious once in a while. Perhaps you might feel anxious when you're going on that all-important first date, you want to make a good first impression, or when you need to try and deliver a speech for work. But the kind of anxiety we're touching on today is something a bit more serious. For us, the feelings we get from being anxious may pass, but unfortunately for others, there's a serious case that these feelings do not go away, rather they linger, causing emotional pain for the person and making their life difficult. Anxiety within itself can also lead to more serious problems. I would like to thank all my guests that came here today. I'd like to thank Jay, her mother Beth, Mr. Bruce Clint, and Dr. Gavin Morrow. And until next time, good night.